I don't believe this. She doesn't deserve it. Enough. This is not your place to say.
In the bustling city of Port Hakot lived in Kem twins, Adana and Amora. They were identical in face, like two peas from the same pod, but worlds apart in spirit. Both were 30 years old and proudly Igbo-Nigerian. Their facial structure was classically oval, defined by high cheekbones. Their skin was the deep, rich color of shea butter. Both had large, almond-shaped dark brown eyes and perfectly straight, medium-sized noses. Adana, father's daughter, was soft-spoken, kind-hearted, and content. Her hair was always styled in a neat, low bun, secured with a simple black clip, practical for her work. She favored loose-fitting, pastel-colored linen and cotton clothes, usually the result of her own modest tailoring. On the night of their birthday, she wore a simple, tailored sky-blue airline dress made from local Ankara fabric. Amora, Grace, was the twin consumed by selfish ambition. Her hair was voluminous, typically styled in long, black human hair braids that cascaded past her shoulders. Her makeup was sharp and precise, smoky eyeshadow and bold red lipstick. She believed life owed her a mansion and only wore clothes that screamed money. That night, she was dressed in a sleek, emerald green, bodycon gown that accentuated her figure, paired with towering metallic stilettos. Their shared destiny, however, was sealed on the night of their 30th birthday. Their mother, Mama Kem, a woman who understood the silent language of the ancestors, brought them a single, ancient family heirloom, a heavy gold wristwatch with an intricate, almost hypnotic snake design on the clasp. "My daughters," Mama Kem began, her voice low and serious, "this timepiece is not just gold. It holds the blessing of our great-grandmother, the most prosperous trader in Igboland. This watch carries the Ifoma's covenant. It promises prosperity, success, and luck to the wearer. But listen well, it can only bless one of you. The wearer must possess a heart of pure sharing. If it is worn by one whose heart is solely for herself, the watch will not just withhold its blessing, it will turn its covenant upside down." Adana, the true elder twin by a mere 3 minutes, reached for it first, her eyes full of genuine wonder. But Amora was faster. With a predatory snatch that shocked their mother, Amora seized the watch. "Sharing," she scoffed, strapping the heavy gold to her wrist. "Mama, my heart is for me, and I deserve this more. Adana is too soft. She will give away the luck to her customers. I will use it to conquer the market." Mama Kem's face turned the color of ash. "Amora, return it. You have desecrated the covenant." Amora laughed, the sound brittle and dismissive. The next morning, Amora quit her receptionist job and took out a massive loan, claiming the Ifeoma's covenant would pay it back. Adana warned her sister, referencing the strange tales from their grandmother, but Amora simply waved a dismissive hand, the golden watch glinting mockingly on her wrist. The watch began to work. Almost immediately, Amora started succeeding with dizzying speed. She opened a cosmetics shop that became a household name overnight. Rich men flocked to her like moths to a flame, showering her with gifts, a red Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon, followed by a duplex in Lekki. Madame Amora, the queen of Lagos business, now wore tailored Italian silk jumpsuits and often kept her braids wrapped in an expensive headscarf for business meetings. Adana, meanwhile, struggled. Her tailoring business began to dry up. Customers cancelled orders, citing mysterious delays or sudden changes of mind. The more Amora rose, the lower Adana sank. One day, Amora visited Adana's tiny flat. She stood in the doorway, blocking the little light, dressed in a silk jumpsuit and a golden wristwatch. "Adana, look at you," Amora sneered, adjusting the diamond cluster earrings she wore. "Still sewing rags? Why don't you try harder? Or maybe, you lack grace. I told you I was the one destined for greatness." Adana looked at the watch, the snake's eyes seeming to follow her, and a shiver of realization hit her. The watch wasn't blessing Amora, it was drawing Adana's good fortune and feeding it to Amora. The covenant was indeed upside down, powered by Amora's greed and Adana's innocence. Amora had not just stolen the watch, she had stolen her sister's destiny. Adana vowed then and there that she would fight to reclaim her life. Amora's prosperity was scandalous, the kind that makes people pause their cars to point at her house. She was living the life she demanded, exclusive parties, constant travel, and a stream of powerful suitors. She was always impeccably dressed in structured, vibrant clothes. Today, a tailored fuchsia blazer and trouser set that made her look like a high-fashion warlord. Her dramatic braids were swept into a high ponytail, emphasizing her sharp facial features. Yet, beneath the veneer of designer clothes and champagne, a strange, dark pattern began to manifest, exactly as the folktales had predicted. The blessing she had forced from the watch came with a hidden price. The price was sleep. Every single time Amora had a major business success, a contract signed, or a new luxury gift acquired, Adana would suffer a profound, almost comatose sleep for exactly 24 hours. Adana, whose features were now perpetually soft with exhaustion, had begun to wear her hair braided into two simple cornrows to minimize force when she unexpectedly collapsed. She was still wearing the same style of modest, traditional clothing, a loose yellow floral cotton blouse and a wrapper skirt, even as Amora mocked her poverty. Adana started recording these incidents in a small, tattered notebook. She noticed the pattern was irreversible and always linked to Amora's peak moments of greed and pride. Amora was not just rich, she was using Adana's life force as collateral, unknowingly transferring a portion of her sister's waking hours to power the Golden Covenant's inverted blessing. Adana decided she needed to understand the mechanics of the curse. She packed a small bag and took a long, arduous bus ride back to their ancestral village in Enugu State. She sought out Motsi Okeke, the oldest and wisest man in their lineage, the only one who might remember the ancient folklore surrounding the infamous covenant. Motsi Okeke listened to her story, his face etched with concern. He was a frail man, his dark skin marbled with age, wearing only a hand-woven white Isiago, lion head, top and a faded red cap. He examined the date Adana had recorded, the exact time Amora had snatched the watch. "Oh, Adana, your sister did not steal a watch," Motsi Okeke said, shaking his head slowly. "She invoked the Ike Nwanna, the power of the sibling bond. The covenant is now bound to both of you, but operating on an inverse law of conservation. For every success Amora achieves through the watch, it drains the very essence of your time and luck to balance the scales." He revealed the frightening truth: the watch requires a sacrifice of time and opportunity to continue running on Amora's selfish frequency. It takes it from the closest, most identical source, you, her twin. Motsi Okeke then gave Adana a desperate solution. The watch cannot be broken, but the covenant can be reversed. It must be broken by an act of absolute, intentional selflessness from the wearer, in a moment of their greatest triumph. Amora must willingly give up something she cherishes more than the watch itself, a true sacrifice of the heart. Only then will the inverted flow reverse, and the watch will reject her. Adana knew the mission was almost impossible. Amora cherished nothing more than the prosperity the watch brought her. To make her sacrifice that in her moment of glory would require a deception as grand as Amora's greed. Adana left the village, the weight of a stolen destiny heavy on her soul, but armed with a desperate plan. She had to engineer a situation where Amora's selfishness would become her own undoing. The opportunity arrived 2 weeks later. Amora was hosting a lavish, media-covered ceremony at her Lekki mansion to launch her new flagship product, a high-end, exclusive perfume called the Amora Essence. This was Amora's zenith. The crowd was a who's who of Lagos's elite, and she wore the golden wristwatch like a crown. Amora looked magnificent but ruthless. She was wearing a floor-length, shimmering gold sequin dress, a deliberate echo of the watch's power, and her black braids were now styled in an elaborate, sculptural updo. Her nose, usually perfectly proportioned, seemed to wrinkle slightly in disdain as she surveyed the crowd. Adana, dressed in a simple, well-tailored dress she made herself, a deep indigo shift dress, was there, lurking near the back. Her demeanor was calm, her small bun held tight, but her dark brown eyes were focused with absolute determination. She watched as Amora gave a boastful speech, the gold watch flashing under the camera lights as she raised her hands in triumph. Adana knew this was the moment of Amora's greatest triumph, and therefore, the time to strike. As Amora stepped off the stage, a sudden, piercing scream erupted from the back of the hall. A waiter carrying a tray of priceless crystal glasses had tripped and fallen directly onto a small, elderly woman. The woman, who was actually Adana's plant, an actress she paid, was now screaming about a broken leg and a damaged, irreplaceable traditional Kora necklace. Chaos erupted. Amora, seeing the attention shift away from her new perfume launch, reacted instantly with pure, unadulterated selfishness. "Get that old woman out of here," she shrieked, gesturing wildly with the hand that bore the golden wristwatch. "She is ruining my moment. I don't care if her whole lineage is broken, this is my launch." Adana stepped forward, her voice ringing clear above the din. "Sister, she is an elder and she is hurt. You have 3 G-wagons, 3 houses, and millions in the bank. You cannot ruin her life for a party." Amora looked at Adana, her eyes burning with pure rage. "You will not preach to me in my own house. Get out." Then, Adana pointed not at the watch, but at the Amora Essence perfume, displayed prominently on a velvet pedestal, worth hundreds of thousands of naira. "Then save her. Donate the profits from your entire first batch of that perfume right now, a public, selfless sacrifice for her treatment. If you won't do that, you are nothing but a thief, and your luck is a lie." The cameras, having focused on the screaming elder, now swung to Amora. Cornered and desperate to save her image, Amora made the only choice she could. She could not appear heartless in front of the entire Lagos press. She gave a thin, forced smile, and yelled, "Fine. I will donate the whole first batch of Amora Essence to that woman." The moment the words left her mouth, the intentional act of selflessness, giving up the thing she cherished most, the profits from her grandest triumph, the golden wristwatch on her wrist glowed with a sickly green light. The snake clasp snapped open violently, and the watch flew off Amora's wrist, crashing into the glass pedestal holding the perfume. The glass shattered, the perfume bottles exploded, and the golden wristwatch, the source of the inverted covenant, lay bent and broken amidst the expensive, wasted essence. That same evening, Amora collapsed. The golden streak of luck vanished as quickly as it came. The sudden act of forced selflessness reversed the Ike Nwanna, flooding Adana with all the lost time and opportunity. Adana woke up refreshed and energized, a profound sense of peace washing over her. Amora, however, began to suffer the reverse curse. She found she could no longer sleep. The energy she had stolen now trapped her in a permanent state of frantic, terrified wakefulness. Her business rivals saw the perfume launch failure and attacked. Her investors pulled out, citing her strange collapse. Within 6 months, Amora had lost everything and was left wandering barefoot on the streets, sleepless and manic, begging passers-by to tell her the time. The great prosperity she had seized backfired, leaving her with endless wakefulness in a life that had become a nightmare. Adana, meanwhile, used her returned luck to rebuild her tailoring business, turning it into a successful international brand, always remembering that true prosperity is not stolen, but earned.